Episode 11, The Soul and the Entity. Series title, Seth Speaks, The Eternal Validity of the Soul. The question behind the questions. We've traveled through the mechanics of reality, the myth of time, the language of the body, and the distortions of history. We have looked at how thoughts become matter, and how the spacious present holds all versions of our lives. And now, as we reach this milestone, we arrive at the question behind every other question. Who are you, really? Most people use the word soul without ever truly defining it. Some imagine it as a fragile thing you might lose, or a ghost that appears only after the body fails. But the personality known as Seth, speaking through Jane Roberts, used a completely different framework. He calls it the entity, a living, vibrant center of consciousness that is expressing itself through you at this very moment. In this milestone episode, we explore how to stop treating the soul like a distant concept and start relating to it as a daily, practical presence. We will touch on parallels in psychology and information metaphors used in modern thinking, not as absolute proof, but as a useful language to help the mind picture something much larger than itself. Quick note: as always, this is a metaphysical model. Take what strengthens your clarity and compassion, and leave what doesn't. The sun and the ray. Defining the entity. To understand the entity, Seth asks us to move beyond the idea that you are only a single, isolated personality. He suggests that the you, watching this, is a focused portion of a much larger awareness that exists beyond the three-dimensional screen of reality. Imagine your entity like a radiant, eternal sun. Your everyday self, with your name and your current life, is a ray of light extending from that sun. You are real, you are unique, and your experience is deeply meaningful, but you are never cut off from the source. The energy, the memory, and the creativity of the larger self can flow through you, even if you usually experience only a narrow band of that light. In psychology, Carl Jung spoke of a deeper self and a drive toward wholeness. Similarly, some modern thinkers describe reality using information theory and the holographic principle, suggesting that the universe is not just matter, but a stable pattern of meaning and memory. This theory, explored by physicists like Leonard Susskind, suggests that the information of a system is preserved on its boundaries. In this view, the soul could be seen as a stable pattern of information that exists outside of linear time. Whether you take these ideas literally or symbolically, Seth's point remains the same. You are not a random accident. You are part of a conscious system that remembers more than your current mind does. You are a local expression of a non-local intelligence, the inner senses and the gamma state. So why don't we feel this connection all the time? Seth's answer is focus. Your 5 physical senses are tools designed for survival in a 3D environment. They help you track linear time and navigate space. But Seth suggests you also possess inner senses, subtle channels of perception that register intuition, emotional truth, and a knowing that bypasses logical steps. One of these he calls psychological time. This is the ability to sense your own depth when you step back from the noise of physical demands. It isn't about emptying the mind, but widening it. Modern neuroscience has begun to study states of flow and deep absorption moments when brain activity stabilizes into a unified rhythm, sometimes associated with gamma activity. Gamma waves are the highest frequency brain waves and are linked to peak cognitive functioning and the integration of information from different parts of the brain. Seth would argue that in these moments, you are turning down the static of the ego and hearing more of your larger self. That is often where inspiration appears, where solutions arrive, and where courage returns when you thought it was gone. It is a state of neural coherence that mirrors your spiritual alignment. Practical alignment. The inner dialogue. The most empowering message of the Seth material is that you do not need an intermediary to talk to your soul. Because you are a part of the entity, the line is always open. You can begin the dialogue directly, treating it as a biological and psychological fact of your existence. To move toward this alignment, try a simple exercise of inner inquiry. Sit quietly and acknowledge the part of you that is aware of your thoughts, the watcher behind the chatter. This awareness is your bridge. Next, ask one specific question, something you actually need clarity on. Then, don't force an answer in words. Seth suggests listening for what we might call a feeling tone. In physics, we might compare this to resonance. When two systems are in resonance, they vibrate at the same frequency. Look for a settling of inner conflict, a calm certainty, or a sudden creative opening where a problem previously felt like a wall. This isn't magic in a flashy sense. It is alignment. It is what happens when your daily mind stops wrestling for control and starts cooperating with your deeper center. When this becomes a habit, life changes in quiet ways. You find yourself in fewer self-sabotaging loops, you make better decisions, and you develop a clearer sense of meaning that is grounded in your own experience. The culmination, an eternal validity. As we reach the culmination of this series, Seth offers a final affirmation. You are not a meaningless speck in a cold universe. You are a living expression of consciousness. You didn't fall into a body as a punishment. You entered this experience as a deliberate act of creation. While physical life has real constraints, social, biological, and economic, Seth would argue that one of the most powerful limiters is the belief that you are alone and powerless. Modern quantum non-locality suggests that particles can be connected regardless of distance. If the universe is interconnected at its most fundamental level, the idea of being unsupported is a physical impossibility. When you shift your belief from separation to connection, you often relate to those constraints differently, and your options can expand. You begin to see challenges as curriculum rather than attacks. As you step back into the world, remember these core pillars. The point of power is now. Your past does not own you. Your current belief does. You create your reality. Not as a burden of blame, but as an invitation to conscious choice. You are an eternal validity. Your existence is a purposeful projection of a much larger being. Your relationship with your soul is available now. You are not walking this journey without inner resources. You are the architect, the builder, and the house itself. You are a part of all that is, learning to realize its own potential through your unique life. Closing and community call to action. I want to hear from you as we wrap up this chapter. What was the most eye-opening idea in this series for you? What shifted in the way you look at yourself when you look in the mirror? Has the world started to look a little less like a machine and a little more like a field of infinite possibility? Comment below with your takeaway. If this series expanded your world, please like this final video and share it with someone who needs a wider perspective. Your support helps this community of mental detectives grow and explore the boundaries of the known. I am your host, and this has been Seth Speaks. The journey doesn't end, it deepens. I'll see you in the next reality.